From Christopher Doc Blaylock comes a tale of supernatural revenge. After witnessing a brutal murder by a Russian mob boss, Elizabeth Payne is hunted down, beaten, assaulted, and left for dead. What they didn't know is that Elizabeth is descended from a centuries-old lineage of powerful witches. And she's back now. She does not want justice. Revenge is not enough. It's blood she's after, and there's no depth to it she won't sink, no price she will not pay to get it.
Revenge. The sweetest morsel to the mouth that ever was cooked in hell.
From Throwback Studios. Published by Dark Gift Comics. Pariah, Blood and Mud. Sign up today. Only on Indiegogo.
Just sit right down, relax, open your ears real wide and say, give it to me straight, doctor, I can take it.
Kick the chocks out from under the wheels. Flaps up. No offense, Margaret. Contact. We're off. Brum, brum.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Good morning. Yeah, Ahmed, I chose me over EVS too. That dude's been streaming like all night, hadn't he? I got up at 4 and watched a little bit of Vic King, a little bit of EVS, had coffee with the wife. Time to get to work. But I thought I'd come hang out online for a little bit before I start drawing. Get enough coffee down my neck to be coherent. Oh, so it's a brisk morning here in the deep south. But the high today is going to be in the upper 60s, 70s. So springtime is coming. What's going on your side of the world over there, Amit? Breakfast bagel and lox. No, that's a Yankee thing. Here in the South, we do sausage biscuits. But I don't even eat breakfast. Like, I'll have a piece of fruit or something in the morning and then a whole pot of coffee, soup and sandwich for lunch, and then a healthy dinner because I'm trying to diet a little bit. And then I'll break the diet later on as the wife goes to bed and I sit up drawing. I'll get into the munchies and blow the whole diet. So what is a good breakfast over there where you're at, Amit? Yeah, no shit. I think I'm gonna get a horse or a mule or something. Oh yeah, we were told in no uncertain terms that gas is gonna go up. It's already the highest it's ever been. And we were told point blank, it's going to go up. So our little car that we bought for gas mileage is actually in the shop. It broke its timing chain. So my truck that I usually just beat around to, I actually got the truck. It's covered in the back to transport larger artworks to gallery showings and whatever, because they will not fit in a car, is now having to be used every day And man, that thing is chewing through the money on gas. So, yeah, thank you. And yet people will still have no memory and vote for this shit. You don't remember Jimmy Carter? You don't remember Clinton? You don't remember Obama? Every single time there's inflation, every single time you do not eat sushi for breakfast. I do love sushi though, especially with real wasabi and the pickled ginger. Oh, so good. So, I don't know why anyone is surprised that inflation is high and you're paying more for everything. They're trying to blame it on the Russian conflict when in fact it was already on this same exact trajectory long before that shit happened. When you start shutting down America's petroleum production, yeah, the F-50 electric, I don't think so. I can't afford that. I can't afford a new vehicle right now. Life is expensive. What am I snagged on here? There we go. Yeah, it's only 30 grand. Right now, I couldn't pay 3 grand. I'm just going to go get a horse, I'm telling you. Like, we have them out on the family farm. I'm just going to go grab one, let it graze in the front yard. It'll keep the grass cut, fertilized, and it's good transportation. Even though I'm terrified of horses, I'm terrified of horses. Has something to do with the fact that big ass eyeballs are up here and the mouth is way down here. So, no, that looks like a fucking monster out of a nightmare. You take in the gas savings. Yeah, but I live in the suburbs and I don't drive far. So, like when the car's running, we're not spending all that much on gas. And then my truck, I just putz around here locally. Coffee shop, art supplies, grocery store, and everything's just within easy driving range. Somebody said, get a bicycle. I said, are you trying to give me a heart attack? Because that shit ain't going to happen. We'll let the horse have the heart attack. I just got to get over my loathing of those evil looking creatures. So today's agenda, I'm finishing a page and I wrote myself into this. I'm the writer on the book, so I could literally do anything I want with this. And yet I wrote a panel, or I should say 2 pages of a guy in narrative, and he's driving through traffic and he's doing this. He's doing all the things I hate to draw: cars, geometric man-made things. It makes you feel like a draftsman more than it does an artist. I don't enjoy doing that stuff, and I know a lot of comic book artists that do. They're like, oh, that's the easy stuff. Yeah, whatever, man. I would rather draw people, organic things. It's much easier for me. So yeah, there's that. But I did this to myself, so I'm finishing up one of the interior pages. And one of the funny things is, I did a POV view of a guy holding the steering wheel. We're looking over his shoulder out the front. You see his face in the rearview mirror. And I didn't have a circular template the right size for the steering wheel, so I tried to freehand it. The thing came out looking like a squished egg. So I searched all over the house and I found something the right diameter, and I redrew it. And of course, that's going to require some edits and going in with some whiteout and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff I hate. But that is why I hate drawing man-made stuff. What I do is put a down payment of 20% and put the rest of the money in market fund and use the interest of that to pay for the car payment. Yeah, I mean, I've got some CDs that are earning nicely, and I could cash those in and go get a vehicle. I would rather pay cash for something and not have floating debt, because I'm at that age the house is paid for. I don't need to be building my credit score any. I just want to pay cash for stuff and move on. But I didn't design the economy. I just have to adapt to it. What time is it over there, Amit? I love having people on that are from around the world. I like to know about what's going on. I like knowing the weather. I was talking to my Aussie buddies, Smirk and Manticore, and they were telling me about all the cool snacks they have in Australia that we don't have here. I know I've ranted about this before, but here in the States we have Funyuns. They're like onion rings, but they're generic, or not generic, artificial. They're yummy. They're a good little snack. But down there they have burger rings. It tastes like the whole hamburger, and I gotta have me some of those. So they said, "We'll get you some, Doc. We'll ship them to you." I'm like, "All right, I'll do a live taste testing. We'll unbox that shit." I think in return I'll ship them some of the snackies we have here they don't have there. I mean, it'll only cost me, a house payment to mail something to Australia. So the work continues on Pariah. I'm going to finish up these 2 pages of nightmare drawing stuff. 5:30 p.m. for you, so you're on the other side of the earth. Exactly. I'm going to finish these 2 pages today, get them in the bank, and then I'm going to move on to, well, it's a continuation of that scene. It's literally Elizabeth's last kill scene. And it's really cool. My wife loves the slasher movies, particularly Halloween, but she likes Friday the 13th, Saw, all of that shit. So I said, I actually bounced off of her because I've already got the others not rendered, but plotted. Like, I need a really good way to kill this guy, that fits in. Da, da, da. So we were talking, and she worked out the kill for this guy. And I thought, yep, I should have come to you all along because that's perfect. So I want to get that done. I want to get Pariah finished as quickly as I can without compromising the quality, because there is now a sequel that's being born. I've reconnected. Well, I shouldn't say reconnected. Never lost contact. He's my best friend, but he was my writer. One of my writers back in the 90s on some of the books we did in the small press. And he and I together brainstormed a sequel. But before I can do that sequel, I've been approached by someone. I'm not going to throw names out there yet, but they want me to pencil a book for them. Don't even have to ink it. Like, yes, Lord, I will absolutely do that. So I'm going to pencil a book, get it done, and then I'll move on to the sequel. So we'll see how all that goes. And let's see. Western Europe is 5 hours, so it's almost 11 a.m. over there. Got a friend that lives on a narrowboat in the canals in England, and we're supposed to chat in a little while, so I'm not going to stay on terribly long. Yeah, I guess Amit, that we really drained EVS's string to pull people over here. I'm glad he went ahead and did the head buzz. I approve. The moment, about his age, in my mid 40s, that I realized I was going to start losing my hair, I buzzed. Like, I'm not fighting it. And I've never regretted it because I don't have bad hair days. Just hit it with the clippers and you're done. Now I have bad facial hair days. I haven't combed my beard this morning, so I am in my pristine state. Let's see who this is. Okay. Oh, I see. All right. I got a stream I got to be on later too, so that's interesting. You should look into. You should look into Cover Call ETF. I guess good for old people like you. They give to. Fuck off, Amit. I've fallen and I can't get up. Yeah, my thing is, I was cruising healthy, strong, and good until my late 40s. And then the old just jumped on me. I mean, you know, like ridiculous. And I remember as a young man doing the things, all the physical exertions when I was in the military and when I would work the doubles and do all this and work extremely long hours in my counseling practice. And, you always know that paycheck's going to come or that check's going to come due at some point. You go, well, that's a price I'm willing to pay later. Holy cow, it's here now. And that's a big ass check to cash. So it's one you have to pay. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I did not even realize, by the way, I don't know if you know who Glenn Fleming is. Glenn is the artist on Hatch, and he's got a campaign out now for his behind the scenes with Jack Kirby. Really great guy, good products, fantastic artist. And I didn't even realize I wasn't subscribed to his channel. He sent me a link last night. Hey, Carol, good morning. Welcome. Are you here to have coffee and wake up? Or are you delirious from being awake for too long? So yeah, anyway, what was I just saying? For fuck's sake, I lost my train of thought. It happens. What was I saying? What was I saying? Damn it. And no, I was not saying I wanted to take a cruise anywhere. Every time I've ever been to see Amit, it's been, she's delirious. Every time I've ever been to sea, it was work. It would be kind of nice one of these days to get on a ship and just relax. Yes, thank you. I just got Glenn's link and subscribed. And if you guys aren't, just look him up, Glenn Fleming, here on YouTube. He's a great guy, great artist. I think he's even older than I am. Not sure. But he's got a great little character called Hatch. There's no dialogue because this little dude is just exploring the world and he's alone. He's got no one to talk to. So there's no dialogue. It's just all visual storytelling. And he has a beautiful style. He hand paints every page. Yeah, but I don't want to go on a cruise ship right now. I want to go on I don't know. I've got a friend who also lives down in my hometown, the low country of South Carolina, which is oceanfront. I just want to get on there and do an intercoastal waterway cruise, like go from Beaufort is just above Savannah. So go from there, like down to the Florida coast, maybe St. Augustine, somewhere like that. Oh, you have a pirate ship, Carol? Let's go. I'll do a pirate ship all day. Okay, a 3-man fishing boat, but it has a flag. Yeah. I literally, I've told this story before, but it's absolutely true. Right before COVID hit. Okay. Right before COVID hit, I was looking at buying one of my canal boats and living on it. No trouble, you have to carry the boat. I was going to buy a canal boat and go live over there and just do my painting of the landscapes. It's 2,000 miles of canals. You're never going to see it all. And then the world ended. Yeah. So anyway, I was going to do that. We were going to sell the house, move over, live on the canals, and just chill, relax. But then the world ended, and I'm glad now I didn't, because just not a good time to have made such an investment. And Corona, or I should say, the lockdowns or the response to Corona really showed me a lot about the different governments around the world, about where you want to go and where you don't want to go. So, yeah, I wouldn't have really enjoyed being over there and locked it down, forced to stay in a marina the whole time. Like, that wouldn't have been good. Especially when a narrowboat only gives you about maybe 600 square feet to live in. That's just not enough. You know, when you're cruising the canals, you moor up and you have the towpath off to the side. That's your yard, and it's different every day. You move. But no, I'm not doing that. And my wife was funny because she was like, I don't want to live on a boat. It'll sink. I said, the water's only 5 feet deep in the canals. You just stand up. You'll be fine. Let's see who this message is. Of course, Carol, 5 feet would probably drown you if you stood up, right? You have a place in Aruba? Well, let's go, buddy. We'll hook up. Carol says, I just went on a cruise in October. It was okayish. We hit every pothole in the ocean and someone fell off the Aruba was nice during the lockdowns. Yeah, I bet it was. I would love to be in Aruba. Fiji, Tahiti. I want to be somewhere where there's no word in the native language for cold. You know what I'm saying? I don't like winter. Even here in the deep south, it gets too cold. Carol's got a place in Myrtle Beach. My hometown is just down the road. You know where Hilton Head is then. Hilton Head, Beaufort, Paris Island, Port Royal, the Low Country. That's my spot. And I wish I was there. That I would move back to. My son called me the other day and he said, hey, Dad, thinking about moving to Tennessee, blah, 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 blah. Well, he's the only thing keeping me here. So I told him, if you move to Tennessee, I'm out of here. I'm going back to the Low Country. Been away long enough. I want to get back to where it's beautiful all the time. My sister went to Coastal Carolina. Yeah. Well, it's not mine. It was my best friend's mother-in-law's condo. Any port in a storm, Mama. Any port in a storm. But you used it to chill. Yeah, I would too. I lived in a condo on Hilton Head for a while, but it was even back then, it was really expensive because this was Fiddler's Cove. It's not quite oceanfront. You literally have to walk like a block and you're at the beach. But it was close enough, and it had all the amenities. It had 2 swimming pools, jacuzzis, all that crap. But the condos are really small. And I wanted to have a little more space, so poof, here we are in the foothills of the Appalachians. I mean, it's pretty here. The scenery's nice. There's lots of good stuff to paint, which is my main thing. I love to get out and paint in plein air. But it's prettier down there. So looking forward to that. One of these days, get back down there. Of course, the price of houses, it used to be $350 a square foot. I saw one the other day that was $749 per square foot. So you were going to pay out the ass for some property down on Hilton Head. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Damn it. Hilton Head is nice. I love Savannah and that big old cemetery, One Adventure. Yeah. I love Savannah also, but there are parts of Savannah that are just shithole. It's like any other place. It's getting a little bit of a sprawl to it, and it's getting some bad areas. But if you're down near the river, then it's good. So that'll be enough out of Newhag. I don't like assholes, living or undead, of any variety. If I had the opportunity, like I said, I would be back down there because Savannah is just right across the river from Beaufort County. So when you go across the Talmadge Bridge north, you're there. You take 170 and then head on out to the islands, and that's God's country. If God made anything prettier than that, He kept it to Himself. Accidentally walked past a police barricade last time I was in Savannah and right into an active bomb. Carol, I imagine your life is one nonstop adventure that way. We'll have to do a book about you. What is it? Not Lemony Snicket's Carol's Cookies series of unfortunate events. So I got up in time to catch the tail end of Vic's stream, but I was too bleary-eyed to have to really comprehend anything that was being said. I thought I'll pop on there and have coffee with him, but I dragged my feet and he closed it out. So I thought, well, hell, I'll go live a whole 2 days in a row. Woohoo! Carol says I'm so fun to hang out with. Yeah, when we have a get together one of these days. Oh, you have family on St. Simon's. That's cool. Wait a minute. St. Simon's is a bit. No. The family sucks, so you don't visit. It's not St. Simon's. It's which island is it down there that nobody lives on? Cumberland. Cumberland Alley is just pristine. Vic fell asleep on his stream last night. He did that one time before, and Tank and somebody else just kept it going because what else you gonna do? Yeah, don't fall asleep at the wheel. That's ungood. Ditches are real things. So, also, think I'm going to work on snoring and everything he tried to deny. Oh, Vic, that guy keeps some insane hours and he streams like nobody's business. I think Ethan's the only one that outstreams him. I can't sit in a chair that long. Not this chair. I got to get a new chair, a comfortable one. When I sold my practice and retired, the only thing I took was from the office was a couple of little, my personal stuff, my books, and then. But as far as the furnishings go, I took my secretary's chair because it was small enough to put in my studio and not take up a lot of space. Bless her heart. Now I know how uncomfortable this chair was. I'm sorry, Kira. I didn't mean to do that to you. So all those years, I should have got a better chair. Let's see. You started drawing again last night. First time in a month. Well, show some of your art. Share it with me. When I first started back doing this a couple of months ago, drawing instead of painting, it took a minute to get back in the stride and start remembering stuff. Oh, yeah, that's how you do this. That's how you do this. And everything about drawing a comic book is the opposite of how I paint. I paint very loose. I've said this before, when you hold a brush and you're painting, you hold it on the back end of the brush and you work from the shoulder. It's from the eyes to the shoulder to the elbow, and then last but not least, the wrist. And if you have to, do a fine line, you choke down. Drawing is the exact opposite. It's hold that pencil tight and work small and at first I was like, this is miserable. I hate this. But once you get back used to it again, it's cool. Nothing is posted because they stole my IG, but I have a few of my Photoshop works on my new IG if you want to see. Sure. Shoot me the link to you're on Twitter, aren't you, Carol? Just shoot me the link to your Instagram. Oh, broke your finger last month. Couldn't hold the pencil right. Yep. There's a video on my fine art YouTube channel, Christopher Blaylock Fine Art, of me painting left-handed because I broke my right arm. And I did myself badly with the broken arm. I had commissions to do and the paintings paid the bills. So after 2 weeks, I just cut the cast off and went back to painting. But now I can't open the arm all the way or close it all the way. You can even hear it pop. Well, now it's not going to. But I discovered I could, in fact, paint left-handed if I had to. I did a fairly nice tonalist piece. Carol's Cookies on Instagram. All right, I'll look you up a little bit later. I cannot remember my password to get into my Instagram, so I got to do the whole reset it thing. And it's not as simple as like Facebook, where it goes, I forgot, click, and it goes to your email, and you just, it goes through this whole long set of steps and opens different windows, and it's a pain in the ass. But I will get back on Instagram and see what's been going on over there. So yeah, anyway. Oh, okay. I'll do that. If I don't have to log in, I'll absolutely do that. As a matter of fact, let's see. Carol's dot cookies. Let's take a look here. All I see is cookie porn. So that's not you. All I see is people making cookies, Carol. Oh, well, let me give you a wrench. I am so sorry about that. Let's take care of that issue right now. Sorry about that. Ooh. Add moderator. All right, you can drop anything you want now. Drop a link for me. Nah, drop me a link. And we'll give it a looky look. There we go. Thank you. The Carol's Cookies. Whoops. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm seeing paintings. Oh, I have to log in to view. If I knew how to log in, we wouldn't be having this conversation. New account. Owen was hacked. Bitches. All right, Carol, what am I looking at? Is this your artwork? The tent with the campfire and the moon? God, I got too many windows open. Okay, that's Photoshop work you did. Well, that's very nice. Very nice. Have you ever tried just all the brushes in the Photoshop? You ever tried traditional painting? You certainly have the eye to do it. Oh shit, I closed out the wrong one. Let me go back. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's click on this. And now it won't let me look. It's trying to make me log in. Damn it, Carol. Can't paint to save your life. I bet you can. As a matter of fact, Will over on Comic Outlook, or I think that's his channel. I tell anyone in one lesson, I can walk you through doing a painting good enough to hang on your wall. He took me up on that challenge, so we're going to do that live. Let me do this. I think Glenn's going to join us this morning. But yeah, you can paint. Anyone can paint. Anyone can draw. It's just, it is not learning how to do this. It's learning how to do this. If you can see, you can paint. Good morning, Jack. Jack says, I'm just going to bed. What time do you wake up? Jack, I get up at 4 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States every morning. Yeah, it won't let me go back there now, Carol. When I click on the link, let me try again. Nope, it takes me to the login screen, and I cannot remember my password to get in there. Holy shit. Yeah, it's just an old habit. 4 a.m. I used to leave the house at 6 a.m. to go to work for my counseling practice because I had to commute. And I just got in the habit of getting up that early. So you ease into the day. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful. I enjoy it. And it's just a habit that I've never bothered to break and really don't want to. I will say this, the comic book community keeps some vampiric hours, and I have found myself getting my sleep cycle all screwed up hanging out with them. Let me see. Let's try that one. Oh, there we go. Alrighty then. What in the world is she wearing on her hip? Is that an X-Acto blade? That's a pencil. Oh, very cool, very cool, very cool. I see it. Nice, Carol. That's good work. Let me share screen. I will show that. Yeah, after midnight's also good. Like when I was in the military and I would stand watch in the dead of the night, I always enjoyed that. Kind of being awake when everyone else was asleep. That's your pencil. Okay. Well, let's take a look at it here. So they wouldn't play. And there we go. This is Carol's artwork. And she says this is a pencil sketch. And that's her pencil. I assume you photoshopped that on or just laid it on the, oh, I see. You laid it on the drawing. It looks like it's her sword. Which is kind of cool. I'm not a vampire, or I might be. Don't ask, don't bite, you guys, right? Let's welcome to the stream, Mr. Glenn Fleming.
Hi, Doc. How are you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. What time is it where you are? It's 20 past 11 here in the morning. What time are you? About 4 o'clock.
It's 06:20 in the morning. I've been up since 4.
Wow.
We were just talking about that.
You sound like me.
Yep, up early every day.
I don't even bother going to bed most of the time. I just stay up and it's true.
I was just saying that comic book people keep the most bizarre hours I've ever seen.
You know, I really think that I really do think that hi, Jack. You know, there are actually 100 hours in a day. You know,
Yep.
it depends how you burn them. If you want to, I mean, obviously, sometimes I wish I could get to sleep, you know, but most of the last time I slept was back in 1977, and I'm writing a book about it as well. It's called 1977, and you won't believe the stuff that goes down.
Well,
I fell asleep. I fell asleep in a bus shelter. I took a couple of years out from art because I was saving up to come to the United States for the very first time. So I could make more money working in a mill, just doing an ordinary job at that time. So really early on in my career. So I left there. Hi, Carol. I left there, and anyway, I was pulling shifts. I was doing 12-hour shifts, and I'd work my 12-hour shift, and the foreman came to me and he said, "Such and such body's not coming in." And I said, "Well, I'll do his shift." So I worked 24 hours straight. And then the next day, when I came out, I fell asleep in the bus stop. And I fell asleep in the bus stop. And the thing was that the first I remember going to the top of the hill where the bus station, what little shelter was, and I sat down. There was no bench in it, so I sat on the floor. I sat on the floor, just leant against the glass, and I just fell asleep. And then I heard this, like, the doors, like, the doors. And the guy shouted, and I woke up. He startled me, and I woke up, and this guy said, "Are you dead?" And I woke up, and he said he'd seen me when he went the other way, which was about 40 minutes previously. So
Are you dead? Yes, I am. When I was in course,
you can read about that in the book. Go on, sorry,
I will. Oh wow. Jack says, I drove for 24 hours once from DC to Security. I used all the lanes. Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah, both ways, yeah.
After boot camp in the military, you go to your training school. They're called A schools. And so when I was in A school, I lived off base because I was married, and someone stole my bicycle. So I had to walk. So that was getting up again at 4 o'clock in the morning and then walking several miles. Well, you're in class for 12 hours in a day, and then you walk home, and you're a newlywed, so you got to spend time with the wifey. I was always exhausted, and I used to have this recurring phobia that I was going to get drowsy, step off the curb, and get hit by one of those big metro buses. So I literally discovered, Glenn, that you could fall asleep while walking, not sleepwalking, fall asleep. And I did, and I walked full speed into a lamppost, bam, right in front of the base where I was supposed to turn across the street. And I remember going, because in my head, the bus had got me. And I was dead. Well, I fell on my ass. I got up and I looked. I got my bearings, and I went across the street, and the gate guards were laughing their asses off. They said, "Dude, you walked into that thing at full tilt, no flinch, no nothing."
Speaking of sleeping and screaming when you wake up, that sometimes you're startled and you go, "Oh!"
Yeah.
I was on a bus. I was going to see my friend. My friend was at university, and I was going to see a bus. And back in 1976, you may have heard, we had a really, really hot summer in England. Yeah. It was unprecedented. It was just amazing. It was really, really burning. So I'm sitting on this bus. Now, we have, as you know, double-decker buses. You just have the single type, don't you? We have these double-decker buses, and on the bus down below, if you can sit at the back, all across the back,
right?
But then if you're in the middle of that strip, you're facing the aisle, and then you're facing people walking in front of you.
Yeah.
To the sides, and the seats at the sides. And so anyway, so it's boiling hot. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's boiling hot, and I'm on the bus, and I'm dozing. I'm dozing like you do on the bus. I'm just dozing. It's really nice, really comfortable. I'm just dozing. And then the bus is stopping. And then I'm awake again. And this woman and her daughter sat directly opposite me, about, just touching knees opposite me. Right. This girl's about 16. And they're talking, and they're just there on the bus, And the bus is full now. There's no seat spare. And I'm just dozing, right? I'm just general blur. And all of a sudden I went, because I woke up and the bloody bus turned round. And this girl was so startled, and she was scared to death. And her mother was looking at me like, "What the fuck?" You know? And I was so embarrassed. I got off the bus, and I was about 10 stops from where I wanted to go.
My son and I went to go see one of the Star Wars movies on opening night, so the place was packed. This was when I was counseling full time, and I worked a lot because I had 2 government contracts plus my private practice. And I nodded off during the trailers at the beginning, and something came on, and it was quiet. And then there was a big sound, and it's that surround sound. I went, "Yo!" The whole theater was laughing at me. I wanted to crawl under the seat and die.
Well, I went into a cinema. I went to see. This was on. I used to go to the cinema on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock because there was never anybody in. And I believe it or not, I'm one of these people who like to watch the film. I don't need the popcorn and the hot dogs.
Right.
I don't need to chat about where I went last week. I pay my money, and I want to watch the film. So I don't want to chat, and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, I went to see that film, Bobby, about Bobby Kennedy.
Right.
I think Martin Sheen was in it, and those people. Right. And I went to see this film. So I thought 9 o'clock in the morning, nobody will be there, and I can concentrate, So I get there, buy a ticket, tell the girl, ticket for Bobby. Get a ticket, and I go in, and all the crap that's on before, all the adverts for the other film, and all this sort of stuff, all this stuff, and I'm sitting there, and there's nobody in this little theatre. This theatre sits probably about 200 people, and there's nobody in it. I'm thinking, this is great. I'm on my own, going to watch this film on my own. Then the door goes. I hear the door bang. The film hasn't started yet. The door bang, and I look round like you do, and it's this woman with these 2 kids, and these kids are about 9.
Right.
So I thought, oh, that's good. She's showing that she's brought them to learn to educate them on history and all this kind of thing. And then this door kid, and she looked at me, and then she just went and sat down with the kids there, and she's looking at me. She was on the same row, but she just kept looking at me. I could feel her looking at me. The door keeps banging, and all these kids are running in, and it ended up about 75 kids with various adults. And I thought, what's going on? And they're all looking at me. I'm sort of, what would I be, about 50, sitting in the corner on my own.
No.
And there's all these kids. And then I'm thinking, I'm not sure about this. And they all kept looking round, really looking round at me, because they're obviously in front of me now, looking round like, what are you doing here, type of thing. And I'm thinking I must have grown another head or something, And then it goes quiet because the film's coming on, and then all these women, and they're only women with these kids, no men there. And and it goes quiet, and they're all going, shush now, shush, and all the kids calm down, and they're all quiet. And it comes up, when it goes, this is to certify that has been approved. It goes, this is to certify that Tiny Feet.
Happy Feet.
Happy Feet has been and I thought, shit, and I just ran out. And so I got to the booth, and I said, what have you done? And this girl was like, what, I said, you've sold me a ticket for Happy Feet. I said, I told you, and it was the same girl. I said, you gave me a ticket for Bobby. Look, it's there, Bobby, on my ticket. And she said, oh, that's not until 9 o'clock tonight. I said, why would I come in and buy a ticket 12 hours before the performance? Anyway.
Oh, Jack, I was there. I saw Star Wars in '77.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what it was. Saw the commercial on TV and was just blown away,
Right, yeah.
We'd never seen anything like that before. And I sat through that thing just with my jaw hanging open.
Yeah.
And the scene that did it for me was when Han flew in on the Death Star run with the Falcon and blew Vader away.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know the name of the ship. I just said, I was trying to tell my mom about it. And then this big, of course, it bothered me, Glenn, that the Millennium Falcon was asymmetrical, that the cockpit was off to the side.
Yeah.
In my mind, it should have been in the center or on top or something, It's But that scene did it for me. I mean, I just, I was hooked. And then I'll tell you where Star Wars went wrong. It started to get a bit squishy with Ewoks, but I
Yep.
was willing to overlook that.
Yep.
One word ruined it. Midichlorians. Like, are you shitting me right now? The Force is measurable blood count that you can draw and analyze. No, that's not what Obi-Wan said it was, and that was just no more.
Well, I was caught with obviously the opening sequence because I remember this very, very clearly. I went in and I
Wait a minute. Do you see this on the screen?
I've never seen Star Wars. Right. But then again, before you go off, listen, I've never seen Casablanca.
Glenn.
And I only saw Wizard of Oz in about 1987, first time when I was in my 30s. It's first time. And I thought, well, I'm really glad I didn't see that before. It's the same with Lord of the Rings. I wasted 9 hours of my life on that.
I enjoyed Lord of the Rings.
No, it's
Very
just
much.
the thing with Jackson, Peter Jackson is he called, the director. He's a great director. He's really, really good, but it's too long. Like in King Kong when they're running down the valley, when Kong they're running down the valley away from all the dinosaurs, and those raptor people are there, and they're running away. And those raptors, if we'd have been around when raptors were around, we wouldn't have been around.
Not those raptors, no.
Yeah, and it takes them when Kong, I think Kong's coming, that's why they're all running away. And it takes that sequence lasts about 20 minutes. Just running down a bloody corridor. But what's the point of that?
Well, now, Glenn, are you a fan of the books for the Lord
No.
of the Rings?
No, I don't. I must admit, I don't like fantasy type of things. I like science fiction. I don't like science fantasy. And Star Wars is just a bit of a mixture that I can palate.
Well, I was a fan of the books, and those that are fans of Tolkien didn't care how long it was. The longer, the better.
Yeah.
To be immersed in Middle Earth, to see it come to life. It was like I remember thinking, I've waited my whole life for this, and here it is. And he made some bad mistakes in it, but
I'd hate to see the director's cut with the extra half an hour that he cut out.
Oh man, I've got the director's cut on all of them, and every now and then when I just want to throw a weekend of my life away, I'll
right, well, I don't like throwing away weekends of my life, but I did on that. What happened was a friend of mine at work. I'll answer that in a minute, Jack. He's a big fan of Lord of the Rings and all, and I was telling about the story about a friend of mine a long time ago. He said, I've got to read The Hobbit to understand the characters.
No.
Well, that's what he said. I didn't know. So I got The Hobbit and I thought, this is the biggest load of rubbish I've ever read. So I got about 20 pages in, and it's more cakes, people knocking on the door, more cakes. More, I mean, how many times? So anyway, so I stopped reading it, right? So I didn't bother. Right. So move forward 30 odd years, and I'm at work. We're discussing this because the new film had just come out and all this kind of thing. They all loved it, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, my friend Dave comes in one day and he's got the box Friday, and he's got the box set, three films, and he slams it down on my desk. He says, right, you're going to watch that over the weekend, and I want a full report on Monday. So I took it home Saturday, got me lunch, and I sat down and I watched the whole thing back to back, 9 straight hours, stopping for a cup of tea or dinner or something. And I watched this thing back to back all the way through, right? And I rang him up Saturday night, 10 o'clock at night, whatever it was. I said, are you crazy? I said, I've just watched this fucking thing back to back. And he said, oh, I've not done that. I said, what a lot. I said to him, any film that says The Return of the King or The King Returns, and they're all asking where the king is, well, there's half the story gone. Because the title tells you, doesn't it? Why are all these little idiots upset when all they've got to do is buy the DVD and it says The Return of the King? Well, we know he comes back, don't we? So what's the point? and then anybody with a brain, if you're going somewhere with that ring to throw it in the mud or whatever they do, the lava, I don't know why they were going there, but they were walking as humans walk, right, at that pace, and they meet these tree guys who are the slower than slugs, and you can't tell what they're saying, and they sit on the branches and they walk, but they're going slower than them, and these guys that the orcs are after, what they call orcas or whatever, whales or whatever they are, coming after to kill them, and they're going slower than they were before they met them. I don't understand. And then when they go all that way, they go to climb up the volcano and throw the ring in, and that's the end. What's the point?
That's not the end.
Oh well. Whatever happens, I don't know. So
anyway, Glenn, my friend, I feel desperately sorry for you. You totally disappointed me. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
It's the same thing with Harry Potter.
I like the first one of that, and that was it. Because you could show me, Glenn, you could show me a movie about little British children headed off to school anywhere in any scenario, and I would watch it because they're just adorable.
Have you seen St. Trinian's then?
No.
Well, watch that, but don't watch the new one. Watch the 50s one. What did Jack want to know? My favorite film franchise? Well, I don't know. I'll tell you my favorite film of all time. My desert island film is 2001: Space Odyssey.
Okay, all right.
And then trying to catch up would be things like obviously Blade Runner.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, let me see if I understand this. You complained about the Lord of the Rings being long and counterclimactic, but you like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Do you know why?
I couldn't begin to imagine. Though I enjoyed the movie, it's on my I've seen it, I never have to watch that again list.
Right. And do you know what it is?
Tell me.
Because you have to watch it, because nobody says anything. You have to watch it. And most people can't watch it because they need to be told what's going on, because they can't work it out, because they don't allow them. They could do, but they don't allow themselves. They need to know why somebody did something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I went round my brother's wife, who was later his wife. Their family had the first colour television where we were. So we're all used to go around to their house to watch Star Trek and things like that. Anyway, we're sitting there one Sunday afternoon, and Columbo was on. And Susan, who was married to my brother, her sister Jane would be about, what would she be? She'd be about 15. So she was, she wasn't a kid. She was 15, 16. Columbo comes on. We're all there. Her mum and dad and everybody's there, sitting to watch Columbo. And it starts off, and a car pulls up outside the house. Guy gets out, walks up the drive, breaks into the house, goes around the back, breaks into the house, goes in, and there's another guy sitting who obviously is the owner of the house, sitting in his chair. Spins round, and the guy,
excuse me.
It's all right. The guy plugs in, bang, 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 and he falls over. He's dead. And the guy runs away. And that's all we've seen. And Jane says, "Why has he done that?" Right? We also, well, we don't know. We'll keep watching. Well, I want to know why he's done it. Why has he done it? Well, we don't know. Well, that's stupid. No, you're stupid. Shut up and watch the program. Anyway, that's it. I like to watch things. It's like I've said to you before on the podcast about the comics. Comics are like, if you take the words away, words are scenery, right? Words tell you that the guy's called Reed Richards. You don't need to know. You don't have to have a name. You've got to see what happens. It's like a silent movie. Take the words away, yes. And if you watch a silent movie, the reason it works is because the storytelling is so superb. Because otherwise, it wouldn't work. And comics are silent movies with dialogue. You don't need to. You don't need to know they're in the Baxter building. You don't need to know this guy's called Doctor Doom.
Right.
That's the scenery. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying it's the scenery.
Hey, Glenn, comment in the chat so I can give you a wrench so you can drop your links.
How do I do that?
Just go to the YouTube video and type anything.
Comment in the private chat.
No.
Well,
go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and click on this video and just comment in the YouTube.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll work on that. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do that. What's it under?
Just look for me, Doc Blaylock. Go to my channel and you'll see the video, the live stream there.
Okay, just a minute. Let's see now. Doc.
Ooh, very nice, Jack. Yeah, I used to love going to the theater. But then there was a saying, and our professor in college taught us this. He said, do not practice in the town that you live in. Talk about counseling.
Yeah.
You will never get a moment's peace in public. And he was right. You can't go to a theater. You can't go to a restaurant without someone who either is a patient or was a patient coming up to you and they want to talk. And you cannot do that. That's a HIPAA violation. And they don't understand that. So you literally become a hermit if your practice is in the town you live in.
I don't know. It's just, I want just let me skip back to when we started. What are you doing up at 6:20 in the morning doing the podcast? And why is anybody watching it? I mean, it's nearly noon here. So
I did it just for you, Glenn.
All right. Okay.
Just for my friends across the pond.
I should think so too.
No, I always get up early, and then I needed a little bit of a palate cleanser from the pages I'm currently working on because they are filled 2 pages worth of drawing all the stuff I hate to draw: cars, buildings, geometric things, all the drafting stuff.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff. I love drawing organic things, but inorganic, ugh. So I thought, before I go to work, let me just jump on here and hang out for a little while with some folks and kind of clean my brain out before I get back into that. Now, notice you have no problem with the inorganic stuff. You do great with it.
Thank you.
Like I was telling the chat earlier, Glenn, the point of view, the panel is a POV. You're looking over a guy's shoulder as he's driving his car. And I did not have a circular template for the steering wheel the right size. So I freehanded it. And it looked like the steering wheel had been in an accident. It was cattywampus. So I was like, son of a bitch. So I went all through the house looking for something the right diameter. I finally found a little bitty tea saucer and laid it down, and I corrected my lines. Now I've got to go in with a white out and edit it. And it was like, I was bitching all night about it. Yeah, I've got those, but it had to be bigger than the one I have.
What about these then?
No, I don't have one, and I need one.
French curves.
Yep, I need one. I also would love to have that drafting rule that Glenn Finch has, so that like if you're doing perspective, you can just open it up. It's an architect's rendering tool, and his is ancient. It's wooden and like bronze. And he said, "Oh yeah, this is an antique," but he uses it. I'm like, I need one of those in my life.
Yeah, I think another thing you need as well. Mine's broken. There's a flexi curve. Have you seen one of those?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
It's actually broken. It's something's happened. I don't know what's happened to it, but this is about 30 years old, and I do curves on it, and it's fantastic because you can just bend it. I don't know if you can see it. Just bend it like that. It does whatever you want it to do.
Right.
And then you just straighten it out. But this, like I said, this is broken, but I can still use it. They're about $15. I would have thought.
Yeah.
Invaluable. Get one of them.
Yeah, when I was doing comics in the 90s, I had everything. The T-squares, the triangles, the French curve, the templates, the ellipticals. Had all that stuff. All I have right now is one circle template, and I think 1.5 inches is the biggest one on there, and I have a 8-inch triangle. That's it. That's all I've got.
See, I'm surprised sometimes because when I draw a wheel, I'll draw it freehand,
Mhm.
and I'm always surprised. I'm not bragging it. I'm always surprised at how bang on I get it.
Yeah.
But when I come to ink it, I mess it up. It doesn't look right. So what I have to do, I'll give you a secret here. You'll know this. Get your circle for your wheel. Let's just say it's the wheel is end on, because obviously it would be elliptical, wouldn't it?
Right.
Draw your wheel freehand so you get it the right size. Don't make, how can I put it? Don't make the wheel the size you have,
Right.
because that alters everything. Do your drawing, draw your wheel, and then get your circle if you can and match it as near as you can. And then draw it with the circle, ink it, and then draw over the line, and it just makes it just wobbly enough to look like you've done it freehand in the first place. So, that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's all about cheating, isn't it?
Yes. Any shortcut that is not cheating.
Yeah.
Ethan literally he kind of went on a rant one day, and I enjoyed it. He said, I want to see the human flaws in your art.
Yeah.
I don't want to see mechanically rendered and computer generated this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I kind of
Exactly.
agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I think about computer generated artwork. I mean, it's great, and everybody who used it, power to them. I've done it, but I prefer, the board and the pencil, and all that kind of thing, because I just think it looks real.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jack Kirby's stuff. There's no way any of that is real.
Right.
But that's the best you're going to ever see. I mean, if you think of fantastic artists like Neil Adams and Barry Windsor Smith, who draw so beautifully, but I call that like advertising artwork.
Illustration.
The illustration, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish I could draw as well as those guys. I really do. But there's something about, you see, I always think that Neil Adams and Barry Windsor Smith, to name, and Frank Frazetta, people like that, they are illustrators who draw comics. Jack Kirby is a comic book artist. He's not an illustrator.
Exactly.
So, and obviously, like I said, I wish I could draw as well as Neil Adams, because his figure work, his drawing is absolutely superb. But sometimes it's too realistic, I think.
Yep.
And
I remember looking at like Steve Epting's work in the 90s. The figures were wonderfully done. Behind, like Captain America in this one scene, is the bottom side of the Quinjet with all the landing gear and everything, and it was so mechanically perfect looking. I was like, who in the hell could actually do that? I mean, that landing gear looks like it's straight off of a real airplane, and everything is detailed. I would never do that. Never.
No.
I would find a way to get around having to draw that shit. I'm not doing it.
I'd tend to make some of it up. I mean, you saw that pyramid that I drew, didn't you? That's like I like to tell the story of on that pyramid, on Khufu's pyramid, the big one.
Yeah.
There are estimated to be 2.5 million blocks of stone that make that. Well, I've drawn them twice because I penciled because I penciled it and then I inked it. So
yes.
But I think it's the with comic book work, it's the how can I put it? The reality isn't the thing, is it? It's the suggestion of it. Do you understand what I mean? You've got to suggest something.
When you're doing a brick wall, don't draw all the bricks. Just there's bricks there and let it fade out.
Yeah. Then that's why skipping sideways. That's why I think that Alfred Hitchcock was one of the greatest directors, because people think he made horror films. He didn't. He makes suspense films.
Yes, exactly right.
Because in Psycho, in the famous shower scene, you never see the knife go in.
That's right.
It's all in your mind,
and you don't have to see it. But he sells it.
But today they would show her arm falling off and you know.
Gore.
Yeah, and it's a different thing.
And that is the beauty of Casablanca. They use the noir principles and the lighting so well. There's a scene in particular where Rick, the main character, is being followed into his office by one of the other characters. and he has to go into the safe to get some money. Well, all you see is Rick in shadow on the wall, opening the safe door and getting out the money. And you see the other character standing in shade. So you have a dark character, a gray character who is ambiguous. And then when Ilsa comes in with her guy, I'm not going to spoil it for you. You need to see it. He's all in light. So you have the good, the dark, but they do it subtly with the light.
Yeah.
And when Rick finally has a schema change, the lighting on him changes. And it's very subtle, but oh my God, is it just amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
You haven't lived till you've seen Casablanca in black and white.
Okay.
Just
I watched, I do like the old films, especially the Frankenstein stuff and all that with James Whale films, you know. But I've never been a fan of Bogey for a start. What's African Queen? I watched that for about 10 minutes and thought, no.
See, I didn't enjoy African Queen.
But apparently he was drunk all the way through it. He's drunk in it, and he was actually drunk while he made it. So I mean, being drunk for 6 weeks is quite strange.
The only other movie I really enjoyed him in that he did was Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
But Casablanca is a masterpiece, and the direction is just perfect.
Who directed it? Was it Houston?
No. I don't want to get it wrong. Hold on. And they went through like 6 screenwriters. Michael Curtis was the director.
Right.
And they went through like 6 screenwriters because they couldn't really find the groove they were looking for. And the writers literally wrote the ending of that movie, which is classic scene. As soon as you see it, you'll remember having heard it before. They literally wrote that the day before. Somebody went, here's how we're going to end it. And they wrote it, and then there you go, shoot it. And it was perfect.
Nothing like a bit of pressure. They're probably going to get charged $12 million if they didn't finish it tomorrow. Right. Like Spielberg with the sword thing in Indiana Jones. You know, you've heard that story, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you catch lightning in a bottle. And that's what that was, yeah. And all the improv lines that these great improv actors are able to do. I think about Harlem Nights with all the famous African-American actors, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, everybody's in this thing. And they improv'd so much of that. Yeah. And they were killing each other on set because it is literally a stable full of the greatest living comedians. Of course, they're going to be killing each other, you know, shooting this thing. I would love to see all of the bloopers from that because it's got to be amazing.
Did you ever see that those outtakes from Gone with the Wind?
I have. I've seen it.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a hoot. And she just burst, Vivian Lee just burst out laughing because they didn't want to say damn, did they? Because that was like the F word, wasn't it? Now,
and that was salty. You couldn't say that.
But they had to, didn't they? Because that's the point, isn't it? That was the point of him. Yeah. That's the point. And it's like, if you remove the point of it, there's no point, is there? Literally.
It defined him as a character. It defined Rhett Butler. And, you know, when they talk about the greatest movies, you always hear 4. It's Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, and Wizard of Oz. Those are usually... not
on my list.
Well, I was going to say the only one of those 4 that made my list is Casablanca. But I have the same taste in movies that I have in music. And that is, I almost don't care what genre it is. Is it well done?
Yeah.
Is it well done? Did it take talent to do it? And frankly, Jack says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a fuck.
That's right. Yeah. Let me tell you about music. I listen to a lot of music and different music. And I'll tell, and somebody once asked me what music I listen to. And I said, Led Zeppelin to David Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think David Cassidy is very underrated. I know he's a pretty boy and all that kind of stuff, but I think he's very underrated, especially as an actor, because he's an actor who sings. He's like, he's not this pop star. He was, but that wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to tread the boards like his father did. and he
Right.
got the Partridge Family, went mega. Whether you like him or not is not the point. He went mega, and then he was for a couple of years in the early 70s. He was the biggest star in the world. He was
Mhm.
bigger than Elvis, selling more records than Elvis and the Beatles
Mhm.
for 6
Yeah.
months. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've seen him in concert, and I think he's great. I know he's dead now, but I think he's brilliant. And
Yeah.
but his father was awful to him. You know, his father didn't get on with him at all, and all this kind of stuff. But I think he's very underrated as a singer, and certainly as an actor.
Yeah.
That's just my
I'll listen
opinion.
to everything from Black Sabbath to Bay City Rollers. Um, I don't like modern country, and I don't
No,
like rap. Other than
no,
that, I'm not even kidding. I'll listen to Celtic, classical, opera.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. Uh, if
I
it's
I don't
talented,
consider rap music. I think it's no.
it's spoken poetry
Yeah,
over computer generated beats, and
yeah,
that doesn't impress me. I'm sorry.
no.
If I want to hear somebody talk fast, I can go to an auction.
Which is really impressive when they do that, isn't
Yes.
it? When it's going on. Yeah. The thing that I went to one of those in Texas, and the thing was, it wasn't him speaking fast. It was that people knew what he was saying.
Yes.
Anybody can speak fast. And these guys, these old boys were there, you know, with their hats on and all this, looking around, looking like they were going to shoot you, you know.
Explain to Carol what pissed means in Europe.
What pissed means
Uh-huh.
drunk.
Yes.
If I go to the pub and get pissed, I'm drunk. In America, it means I'm angry, doesn't it?
Right, exactly.
No, it means drunk.
Yep. Um, I have several friends in the UK that I've known for years, so I've picked up most of the slang and the vernacular. So it doesn't phase me anymore. But I get where Carol's at. It's like, why are you pissed?
Yeah.
Well, because I've been drinking.
Yeah. Well, I have some American friends, and they came over. The first time they came over back in the 80s, and we were telling them we went to this we'd been to this party, blah blah blah, and I said we had a great time. I got really pissed, and they were like, what? What would you do? Start a fight? I said, no, I don't start a fight. I mean, drunk people do start fights, but I'm not one of them. But no, and it took a while. It took me a few minutes to work out that they weren't understanding what the phrase was.
Right. And we're just having a crack. And
Yeah.
my wife heard that and she said, did he say he's smoking crack? No, honey.
Have you seen? Do you get Ali G over there? A guy called Ali G.
Allergy.
Is a comedian.
No, I don't think
Well,
so.
he's Sacha Baron Cohen. He's called the guy. You
Mhm.
may have, check him out. Anyway, it's really funny because he does this character called Ali G, and he does he does that clicking finger thing. Goes I all the time, you know, and does that. And he's like a I think Sacha Cohen. I mean the name. I think he's Jewish, but he's playing a white man who thinks he's black because he's giving it all this all the time and talking like the black people do in the gangster rap thing.
Yeah,
He talks like
yeah.
that. Anyway, he went to Ireland, and in Ireland, they would say to you, "Hi Doc, what's the crack?"
Hmm.
If you went there and said, "Oh, I'm going to this great club," they'd say, "Where's the crack?"
Hmm. Hmm.
Meaning, where is the place?
Hmm.
The crack is like the deal. So Ali
Right.
G goes over there, and it's all comedy. He knows what's going on, but this girl is interviewing this girl, and he says to her, "So what's it like over here?" And she said, "Oh, well, we over here we love the crack." And he's going, "Oh, what?" It's only a joke, but it's funny. Check it out. It's
Yeah.
funny.
And what was it? Gary Phillips has a popular YouTube channel for narrowboating, and we're friendly. And during the lockdown, he would stream on Facebook, and we would hang out. And he had a really bizarre, and you answered. I think you were one of the ones that answered for me. Kind of an Essex accent, and to be fair, I think that. Yes, and just rambles,
Yeah.
and always says, to be fair, but when when we say to be fair, I was also at fault. He just says to be fair as a kind of jumping off point between two sentences. And I kept going, why do you say that? And he's like, what? He goes, well, I'm going to say it, aren't I? You know, and that's, I'm not going to know that, am I?
I say what really, there's two things in the current speak that really do my head in. There's a phrase. Do you know what that means? It does
Yes.
my head in, right? And
Yes.
one, it's an Australian thing where they go up at the end of the sentence and everything's a question.
Up talk.
Oh,
I
that
hate
drives me crazy. It's like it's like you're thick. It's like they think you're stupid.
Yep.
And I went to the football. Yeah, I understand. I know what football is. And the other one, the new one, is when people say a.
A?
It's a shame that happened.
A?
No, it's a shame. It's not a. It's not a shame. But you can see where they slip up because they say, "I came across a book." So a has become the new
Yeah.
I came across a book, right? And it's killing me. It's doing me. It does
my
me.
pet peeve right now. Even intelligent, educated people will say these ones.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's these. You don't need ones.
And one. This is a real Texan thing. Are you in Georgia?
Yes.
It might be a southern thing then. Is when because it's an Americanism that's come over here, and it's when people they would say now they're saying, "Oh, I'm in the oil business." It's not the oil business; it's the oil business. Now you might say the oil business. I suspect you would. Well, you're wrong.
Well, I'm not from here originally, so my accent is Carolina coast.
Oh, right. Okay.
They say phrases here I had never heard before, like this is ammo. I'm gonna go to the store. What the fuck did you just say? I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
And the other one, axe. I want to axe you a question. Well, an axe to me is what you put in your fucking head. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that one too,
I was
Carol. She says across the street.
Across,
no, it's across. There's another one they said here. When I first moved up here, I could not wrap my brain around this. Where I'm from, at lunchtime at work, I would say, I'm going to lunch. Up here, they say, I'm going to go get me something to eat.
That's
and I was like,
Forrest Gump, isn't it?
I was like, are you saying I'm going to take care of my own hunger? Don't ask me to get you anything. Is that what you're, I'm going to go get me something to eat. Oh,
I was on,
yeah.
One time I was in New York. I was on one of the trains. I was going up to Queens or somewhere. I can't remember. I was on the subway. And I was with this girl, and I was talking to her, and it was rush hour. You know, it was packed with people, and I'm just chatting to this girl, and this guy came up, and he sort of whacks me on the shoulder like this, you know, and I'm thinking, what? He says, "Are you from England, boy?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, if there's one thing I'm going to do before I die." And I thought, oh shit, he's going to be killing Englishmen, you know. He said, "I'm going to get my ass over that water and teach y'all how to talk." and then laughed and got off, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh fuck, you know.
Why can't the English teach their kids to speak? Yeah, when you listen to some of these accents from up north, and they have the nerve to make fun of how I talk. I enunciate, I pronounce all of the word, and then they say things like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get the drawer open and get my keys out and go park the car." And I'm like, was that even English? What did you just say? Yeah, they're use guys. Yeah, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about what? What are you talking about right now? You know.
Well, that's great, isn't it? When Kennedy says that thing, he said, "We all breathe the same air."
Yeah, that's a thick ass Boston accent. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Yeah,
Jack says, "I speak the Queen's English because she is the Queen." Now there is a particular English accent, and the Queen speaks it. where they don't hit the R's at the end of words. So we were, what was it? We opened the drawer, yeah, and da 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 da, yeah. And there's this couple that I watch, this young couple, uh, on YouTube, and they have Holly the Narrowboat. They're this lovely young couple. They live on one boat, and they have another one they tow behind them that's a cafe on the canals where they serve coffee and cake and whatever. And they're just the cutest little couple. They just had a baby. But when she starts talking, her accent is so hoity-toity but incorrect that I want to go, why can't the English teach their kids to speak?
There was I used to work for an Italian firm, and the guy, one of the directors, I was talking to him, and he wanted me to. It was they manufactured kitchens, and I used to do all the drawings for them and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, it's Italian, right? He goes, Glenn, when you draw the draw, draw the draw.
What?
And he went on, and so I told the girls in the sales office this, and every time he walked through, they always used to go, draw the draw, and he used to look around and he could see what they're talking about.
Yeah, there's down here. And it's not a black thing; it's an urban thing. Whites and blacks do it, but like when I was working at this program, it was a substance abuse treatment program for felons who were on probation or parole, and they messed up. So instead of locking them back up, they give them one chance to come in and get treatment. Program lasts 3 months, blah, blah, blah. I would walk through the lobby going to my office in the morning. Why I did this, I don't know. I should have come in the back door, but 1,000 of them are going to hit you with something as soon as you walk in. And it was Middelblaylock, Middelblaylock, Middelblaylock. And I would go, wait, stop. What? Was that even fucking English? I don't speak Walmart. And they go, I'm sorry, Mr. Blaylock. Middelblaylock.
Have you seen that? I think it might be the Twilight Zone that Harlan Ellison wrote about the soldier who comes back and he speaks really fast.
No.
See, it's either The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. It's one of them.
Okay.
And it's about this soldier, and it's true. It's about the soldier, and he comes back from the future, comes through like a time warp, and he's a soldier, and he talks really, 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 really fast, and they can't understand him. And then somebody records him and slows it down. And I thought that's like New Yorkers; they talk really fast. I probably talk really fast to you, and if you slow it down and they slow this guy down, it's Harlan Ellison's story. Check it out. It's either Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. It's one of the two. But
Shadowhawk.
I tell you something that's coming in over here. I don't know about where you are. Is people will say, because it's lazy, right? It's laziness. The kids will say, I was walking down this street.
Yeah, street,
because it's easy to go shh instead of st, right? And it's just laziness, and it drives you crazy.
Yes. Yes, I will tolerate no missiles on Cuba. Cuba. Yeah. Listening to those Boston, what is it? The Beacon Hill Boston accent, which is what Kennedy had, is intolerable. I mean, it is painful on the ears.
I think it's great.
Do this and the other thing.
We choose to go to the moon.
Not because it's easy, but because it's hard. It's what? I had a recruit when I was stationed on Parris Island. I was in medicine. We open up sick bay, and there they all are. And you're going to go out and you triage. You go down the line. What are you here for? What are you here for? I get to this one recruit. What are you here for? Sir, this recruit's arm hurts. I said, what? This recruit's arm hurts. I said, spell arm. He said, A-I-M. I said, A-I-M is aim. It's A-R-M, arm. You're not even getting in here until you can say the word arm.
And he died. Oh, dear.
My arm hurts.
I love listening to JFK's speeches when he's. I just love it. I think it's great. We all breathe the same air. think it's
He was,
fantastic.
yes, he was articulate, but his accent was off-putting. But it's like I just watched probably the best movie I've seen in years was Darkest Hour about Winston Churchill in the opening days of World War II when he
Right.
first comes to power.
Is that Gary
Gary
Oldman?
Gary
Yeah.
Oldman, and Gary Oldman has replaced the real Winston Churchill in my mind now.
Wow.
Uh, when I think Churchill, I hear Gary Oldman's voice because he was so convincing in that role.
Yeah.
So I went back and I listened to Churchill's speech. We shall fight in the round. We will fight in the streets. And he's nowhere near as dynamic as Gary Oldman made it out to be. And I keep going, is that really Churchill?
There's one disappointment. Have you seen Inglorious Bastards?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Well, I love Tarantino's dialogue. His dialogue is superb, but he really misses the British thing by a mile in that film. Because there's no way, when they're in the bar and he's dressed as a German and the SS guy, all that, and he just does this instead of this or something with the three, and he knows he's not bona fide, right?
Right.
There's no way that English guy would say, "Oh well, better go out speaking the King's."
Right.
He wouldn't say that. But the worst scene in that is when that guy goes to see Churchill, and it's played by We're Not Worthy guy, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, what is his name? The guy that did Shrek.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
But it's that guy, isn't it? We're Not Worthy, with that singing Bohemian Rhapsody. It's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the worst portrayal of an English accent, any English accent, whether it's the Queen's or Scouse, Liverpool, Scottish, whatever it is, British accent. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's cringe. To me, it's cringe.
That's the same guy that did Austin Powers, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm saying. Yeah, that's
hey baby, fancy a shag?
Well,
no.
I've seen that bit, but I've not seen the film. But I mean, he's all right. He's okay, but it's awful. But there's no way that guy would say, "I will go out. Let's go out speaking the King's."
Yes,
it's just stupid.
And the other one was, of course, the main guy, not the villain, who was beautifully played. What was his name in the movie? The Colonel, who's the bad guy. Amazing. Sinister.
Oh yeah, that German, that Austrian guy. Yeah. That first opening scene. Yeah, Mike Myers. Yeah, that's it. The opening scene with Monsieur Lapetit is fantastic, isn't it?
It is amazing.
It's just brilliant. And then when he's with Shoshana in the restaurant and he looks at her and he says, "I've got something to ask you," and he just looks at her, and that look in his eye.
Yes,
he knows exactly who she is, doesn't he?
He's a step ahead of everybody he comes into contact with until the very end.
Yeah,
and then that's where we run up against the what's that guy's name? The Brad Pitt.
Brad
Pitt character.
Yeah.
With the worst Southern accent I've ever heard. Sound good?
Yeah, but it's really bad as well when he's playing the Italian guy in the party. It's suss him out. They'd suss him out before he walked through the door, wouldn't they?
Right.
But it's a fantastic film.
It is, and it's the parodies of the accents are so extreme that you get past them not being realistic and you accept that they're satirically bad. Fancy a shag. There was what was that? Notting Hill.
Yeah.
Where that skinny guy was Hugh Grant's roommate.
Yes.
A Welshman.
He's the lizard, isn't he, in Spider-Man?
Yeah. His accent was so over the top.
Oh no, he's Welsh. He's Welsh. That's a Welsh accent.
Yeah. The Welsh. It's a ghetto Welsh accent.
He's great.
That was amazing.
When he says to him, "Are you not going up there with her then? You're not going up there?" And he says, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Oh, mind if I ever go then?"
Mind if I ever go? What do I think of Tom Hanks' Southern accent? Again, it was over the top in Forrest Gump. All of them were, but it's okay. You accept it for what it is and you move on. That's what good storytelling is. I would rather have that than Robin Hood, Prince
Oh,
of Thieves, Kevin
oh,
Costner's English accent,
what
non-existent
when
English
when
accent.
when he says it's the sheriff of Nottingham. Only an American would say the sheriff of Nottingham, like Birmingham, Alabama. You know, Birmingham. Nobody.
Nottingham.
In England, nobody lives in Birmingham. For the most part, the people who live there, they live in Brum.
Yeah, yeah.
They call it Brum. They're Brummies. They're called Brummies. You know.
But when
It's
you
good
hear,
though, isn't it?
when you hear, I would have rather heard Kevin Costner do an over-the-top imitation
Yeah.
of an English accent than trying to be subtle. You know,
Well, Tom Cruise was clever in Valkyrie when he decided, him and the producers decided that none of them were going to do that German accent talking like this, you know,
Right.
because they don't talk like that.
right?
And they speak American, or Bill Nye is English and he speaks English. And I thought that was a really good move
Yeah,
rather
if
than
you
walking around.
can't consistently pull it off with the whole cast,
Yeah.
and you can't with Tom Cruise. He doesn't do accents and inflections at
No.
all.
No. I'll tell you something else. In Schindler's List, which is a fantastic film.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Heart-wrenching. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's the guy called who plays Amon Gert? What's his name?
I'm trying, Glenn. I'm
Fine.
trying.
Is it Ray Fiennes?
Yes, Ray Fiennes.
He plays that German. He plays it well, but he plays that German. But every time I hear him speak, which is a lot, it's Dr. Strangelove. It's Peter Sellers that, yeah, mein Führer, I can walk. You know, and because there's a bit where there's a guy in the street and the Germans are coming, so he's really clever. He starts moving all the cases out of the street. Obviously, remember that bit?
Yeah, yeah.
And Fiennes and his cronies are coming up the street, and he clicks his heels, this guy, like they do, and he goes, "Well, my heel clicking Jew," you know, and it sounds just like Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove. Speaking
That's
of
another
Doctor,
good movie. Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Strangelove is a good one.
I'm going to say, you must know that Slim Pickens played it straight. He didn't know it was a comedy, and he's the funniest thing in it.
Yes.
When he
yes.
says, 2 packs of nylons, 3 packets of chewing gum.
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
kind of stuff.
He was in Harm's Way. He had a minor part in that John Wayne film, World War II. Well, if they does, Mr. Hanson, I tell you what, they'll never see nothing else again. And I'm like, all right, that is so over the top. It may be real. I mean, that sounds like Kentucky.
Yeah. But Peter Sellers was supposed to play that part, you know.
Was he?
Yeah, but he broke his foot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He couldn't play. Yeah, he couldn't play that part.
I remember
The rumor was that he was sorry. The rumor was that he was sick of Kubrick's pedantic doing 50 takes, and he'd had enough at that point when he was playing that part. But
Right.
I heard he broke his foot. So
yeah, I've heard the same thing, and yeah, I heard the same thing about the direction. You know, Kubrick, come on, man.
yeah,
Kubrick allegedly is a good director, but extremely hard to work with. And I get that. I can see that.
I think he's the best.
He's one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's if anybody could film anything of mine, I'd want him to do it.
I really got to go with, I think Spielberg is a GOAT. He's definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah. Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese is good. And like you said, what's his name that did Inglourious Bastards?
Tarantino.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, and
Can tell a damn story.
And Coppola.
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola is good. Tarantino can tell a story. You might not like the story, but he can tell the hell out of it.
That was not. Sorry.
What was the Western he did that had?
Django. Is it Django in Chains or something? Is it that one?
No. This is out west where they stop at a trading post, and the bank robbers are all in there. Oh, what is the name of that one? I can't remember it, but I do remember From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, that was my first exposure to Tarantino.
Yeah.
I see bank robbers, they're holed up in this town, they're this and that. So I think I'm watching a crime movie, and all of a sudden it just takes a left. And I'm like, whoa. Yes, the Hateful Eight. That was
the
it.
Hateful Eight. I haven't seen that one yet. Not seen that one.
It's good. It's really good.
The
Typical Tarantino.
one of the best pieces of writing, I think, in film was the sequence with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper. Is it True Romance? When he calls him, what does he call him? He's detrimental. He's Sicilian with the Moors and all that stuff, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
An egg. Does he call him an eggplant or something? He says you're half eggplant or something. It's just brilliant the way he knows he's going to die. He knows he's going to die, and he insults him before he dies. You know, it's really good.
Yeah.
And he's just the master of dialogue.
Yes,
like on Pulp Fiction, but in Pulp Fiction when they shoot that guy in the head and they call Mr. What's he called? I can't remember his name. Mr. Fox or something. Mr. Wolf.
Cleaner.
And he comes right. Yeah, he comes round and they have it. They start. He says, "Right, go outside, strip off, and spray yourself down." He says, "I'm not doing that. It's cold." And he said, "Gentlemen, I'm leaving. Good luck with the police."
Yes.
But they insult him and he's trying to save them from 50 years in jail.
Exactly. This is the banter is good, the dialogue is good, great script writing, and good direction too to make it work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Tarantino and didn't want to like him. You know what I'm saying? I did not want to like Quentin Tarantino, but damn it, he earned it.
He's good. He's only not going to make a couple more films, isn't he? I think he's going to do 10 films. I think he's on his last one. Because I want him to do my
one more time. I dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more GD time.
Yeah, and the biggest gaffe of all time is in that sequence, isn't it? When he's when Travolta and Jackson go to those guys and get the MacGuffin in the case. Mm-hmm. And that guy comes out the back and blasts them and misses them because before he comes out, the holes are already in the wall, aren't they? Have you seen that?
No, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I can check it out.
You watch it. The holes are. What happens is he's talking to that guy and he says, "Can I wash this burger down?" and all that. Mm-hmm. And John Travolta gets the case and he undoes it and he lifts it up and there's a light. We don't see what it is, but there's something amazing there. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to Jackson. And Tarantino, and I think they might have just shot that guy. They shoot him, don't they?
Yes.
And then it cuts to them, and with the wall behind them, and there's bullet holes in the wall. And then the guy comes out and blasts away, and the bullet holes are in the wall.
I'll have to catch that. There was another one in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, when they first get to England, and Kevin Costner's rolling around on the shore. I'm home. First cut of him, cloak is across his chest. Next cut, it's not. It comes back. It is. It goes back and forth. And I'm like, what the hell?
Have you seen Mel Gibson in when Paint the Faces Blue, the Scots? Braveheart. Well, there's a scene in that when, they're all going, freedom, and all this shit. And his face is totally blue. And then it cuts to the English guy who they're going to attack and cuts back. And it's all sweated and run down. And then it cuts back to the English guy and then it cuts back and he's got a blue face again. And it just keeps going. And half of it's missing,
Little things like that, they don't pull you out of the story, but they make you go, huh. And I can't help but wonder sometimes, is that like the subliminal stuff they would do in advertisements in the 50s? Like they would show the cartoon girl sitting in a swing on the drive-in theater to encourage you to go to the concession stand. And she's in a swing and her legs are forward, but they're also behind her. And it's just there enough to grab your attention and make you think, oh, I need to go get something from the concession stand.
I don't know.
So I wonder sometimes if they do that stuff. Traitor propaganda.
Yeah, it's right.
Yes.
Mel Gibson does not like English people. He tries to kill them all in Braveheart, and then he does it again in that silly independence film of yours.
I was going to say that the Patriot, The Patriot.
The Patriot, yeah.
It's the exact same movie.
Yeah.
As Braveheart. It's the same damn movie.
It's anti-English, and considering that he was born in New York and raised in Australia,
Well, that's the story anyway. We don't really know that.
What, that he was born in New York?
and raised in Australia, because you'll also hear him say, he's from this place and he's from that place. And it was like, where are you actually from, dude?
All right.
Can't
I've
really
heard
pin
that.
that accent down.
I'll tell you what is good. One of the best film, one of my top 5 films of all time, The Year of Living Dangerously, with Sigourney Weaver and Mel Gibson. Have you seen that?
I think I have, but it's been a long time.
It's a brilliant film. It's never on anywhere. I can't find the DVD of it. I can't find it anywhere, but it's one of the best films I've ever seen. The Year of Living Dangerously, 1982. Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver.
I'll have to find that.
It's got fantastic soundtrack by Vangelis.
Okay. All right.
It's
I remember
absolutely
Vangelis very well. Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what.
Four-legged cereal. Yeah, that's great popcorn. It was bizarre what their thinking was, but it was that if there was something disturbing about the image, you would focus on it and pay more attention. That was what they were going for.
Well, it worked. You're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you got some popcorn? One of the biggest gaffes in film was Casino, when they kill Joe Pesci, when they smash him up and they throw him in that hole. You know what I mean, in the cornfield.
Yeah.
Kill him.
It's been a long time.
They kill. I think they shoot. Did they shoot him in Casino? It's one of them films. Anyway, they get Pesci and they kill him and they throw him in a hole and he's lying like that and he's dead. And then it cuts back to the guy and spits on him, and then he's like that. I'm from Manchester in the northwest of England.
Mm-hmm.
God's own country.
Yeah, I was going to when I was planning to move over there and get my narrowboat. I was going to come out of Tattenhall Marina, just to the east of Chester.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my home base out of
Oh
there.
wow, that'd been good. That's really posh down there.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, places it's like everywhere else. There's a posh bit next to a dump, isn't there?
Yeah.
They always make sure there's a dump near the posh bit to spoil it for you. So.
Mm-hmm. There's an inn there that's just to the west of the marina called the Shady Oak. And the food, every time Gary would go there, the food looked amazing. It's a beautiful pub. It was like, all right, that's my first stop when I get my narrowboat. I'm going to head out of the marina, hang a left, and I'm going down to the Shady Oak, and I'm going to have a pint, and I'm going to have the whatever the hell they're serving, because it all looked good.
I've never been there, but I would imagine it is. It's like everywhere else. You get good stuff everywhere, can't you?
Yeah.
Depends what you're looking, where you go and what you're doing and all that. Speaking of a longboat, I went on a couple of trips on one of those things on the canals. It's absolutely brilliant. You're not allowed to go faster than 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, you can outwalk one.
Yeah.
You can literally, if you watch, there's a channel called Cruising the Cut. And the guy's channel, he's a retired BBC reporter. And he does great videos. But the first time I was getting into this and watching, he has kind of a time lapse of himself cruising this canal, and you see a woman pushing a carriage go past him. And I'm like, oh my God.
A former woman of mine, her brother had a boat, and we went. He used to dock it in Knutsford, right? Knutsford, and it took us. I think it took us 4 days to get to Chester, which is about 15 miles.
Yes.
And we had to come back then because not only, obviously, 4 days, it takes you 4 days to get back, and it was the end of the holiday. Mm-hmm. It takes you a day to get through the locks at Chester because there are about 75 locks.
Yes.
And you just in a lock going up and down and lock literally all day.
Yeah, they call them step locks, and they are.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh. Yeah. And it's just an amazing thing, but it's really, really nice, really tranquil.
That's why I was going to invite my son to come with me so he could do the locks.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all that.
Well, if you do, we'll come down to Shady Oak and we'll have some lunch.
Absolutely, we will. Well, I don't know if I can do it now because COVID has eaten up all of my savings. I mean, if I sold the house, I could do it, but then I wouldn't have anything to live on. But, the cost of living in a good economy on a narrowboat is you can live comfortably for less than 12,000 pounds a year.
I would think so. Yeah.
All you got is your fuel and your food. That's it.
Yeah. When we were on this boat, we'd be woken up every morning at 6 a.m. By the swans, and they peck on the
Oh, the
portholes on the
bastards!
boat
Yeah,
because they want feeding. Get up, we're up. We want some bread, you know. So you go out and chuck them some bread and go back to bed, you know. And then you're pecking again, little buggers, you know. So,
yeah. Swans are horror creatures, man. They'll tell you, uh, there's a swan hatch on the side of the boats, and that's what it's called. The side
Yeah.
hatch, double doors opens up,
Yeah.
and it's called the swan hatch. The swans know that hatch on a boat. They will come knock on it. And they say, don't feed them once because they will come back every single day and give you hell till you feed them.
I know I've been there, I've done it. But they're great. They follow you as well, and you only moved on really, really slowly. You know, it really is a nice. I keep saying to Helen, let's buy a longboat and just go and park somewhere and get rid of all this bloody internet crap and just
Get
go
a
to the
narrow boat, cruise the canals. If you don't like the scenery, move.
yeah.
But one of the things I found just fantastic. One of the guys was cruising, and you look like you're inside this ancient hardwood forest. It's shady. It's beautiful. You go under this brick arch Roman built bridge, but then he launched his drone, and there's a city on both sides of you, but you look like you are in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And I'm like, that is just amazing. That is the life for me. I need this in my life. Oh, what a great retirement that would be. But then the world ended.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's going to end as well with that guy over in Ukraine, doesn't it?
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
What has he done? You know, I mean, I don't understand what threat Ukraine offered him. I don't get it. But anyway.
None. Just a son of a bitch, but we won't go there.
No.
I will say this. If I were to tell a story about once upon a time, there was a European dictator who annexed a part of another country because they spoke the same language, and then people appeased him, so he did it again. And meanwhile, in the Asian sphere, an Asian power rose up and started getting frisky. Would I be talking about the 30s or would I be talking about now?
Yeah, it's true. What's that saying? The more things change, the more they remain the same.
And those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah,
that's what scares me. You want to go from St. Louis to New Orleans on the Mississippi. I wish, like Jack said, I wish that America had a canal system like the UK does. That's 2,000 miles of quiet cruising. 2,000, they call them ditch dwellers, you know.
But the thing, it was built for trade. It's wasted. They could get all this stuff off the motorways,
right.
these big trucks chewing up the road,
right,
and all this pollution, and stick them on one of these boats and float it down. You know?
Yeah, there's a movie called The Bargee that I can't get here, but apparently you can get it in UK on one of the demands over there. Or maybe it's BBC. I don't know. Do they have a BBC on demand?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what it is. And I desperately want to see this movie because all my canal friends are like, "You've got to see The Bargee. You've got to see The Bargee." I'm like, yeah, but I can't. It's not available over here. But yeah, the Cruising the Cut guy showed the old working boats that have the 2-stroke diesel putting down the canals, and they provide fuel and supplies for the narrowboat community. I'm like, oh my God, that is so. I need this in my life.
You should do it.
Yeah, Jack. If you like river cruising, man, the canals are for you. Flat, calm. They're only 5 feet deep, 6 feet deep at their deepest. I wouldn't. There's one couple I watched. They'll swim in it, and I'm like, I'm not swimming in that canal.
No, don't go in it. Don't go in it.
No.
If you fall in it, okay, but don't go in it on purpose. No.
And you'll see people fishing it. I'm not eating anything that comes out of that canal.
I know.
I've
seen
like one guy said, it was made by man for man. This is not nature.
Yes, exactly. And I've seen dead animals in it and all sorts. You know, I mean, they probably were just going out for a walk and didn't realize and fell in and drowned because they can't get out and all that kind of thing. But no, you don't. No, don't go in it.
Oh, Carol says, I'm supposed to be co-hosting a stream right now.
You better get going, Carol.
No, it's absolutely okay to ditch and hang out with a Southerner and a Brit. Totally cool. What was I going to? Oh, they call themselves boat tubers. All the guys that have YouTube channels that live on the narrow boats. and they had a get together somewhere centrally, and so they shot a video and said, "What is the strangest thing you've seen in the canal?" And one of the ladies said, "The dead body that wasn't a dead body. Someone had an inflatable woman and had thrown it overboard." And it had gotten debris and everything, so it was floating face down, and she was completely freaked out. Called the police, and it was just a inflatable woman. Jack says, "Erg, I'm thinking UK they doubled as a sewer." I'll tell you this: the boats do put their brown water back into the canals. That's your sink and shower runoff. But they have holding tanks or toilets for
the chemical thing. Yeah, we had one of those. Yeah. I'll tell you, I had a crash in it. We nearly wrecked this boat. It wasn't a long boat. It was more like a speedboat shape. Like a It wasn't a speedboat, but excuse me. And it had like a windshield,
Mm-hmm.
And we were going along, and I'm driving this thing. Excuse me. And you have to lift up the odd bridge to go through. Somebody has to get off and manually pull it up, and then when you go through, they let it down again.
Yep.
We were following this boat, and I got off my boat to do this bridge, and the guy in front said to me, "Oh, it's okay. His daughter's got it." His daughter was about 16. So I said, "Okay." So she pulled the bridge up. They went through, and just as we were going through, she let go of it. She didn't lower it. She let go of it, and it went wham, and smashed all this thing. It could, if that boat would have been a foot further, we wouldn't be talking now.
Yeah, you'd have thought.
And you know what they did? Just carried on.
Yeah. The cruiser hull people who have the fiberglass cruisers apparently are a different culture from the narrowboaters. Their boats are steel.
Yeah.
And I was watching, and there was literally this one couple. They have a narrowboat, and I was watching them. And a cruiser hull would not share the lock with them.
Yeah.
Because your big steel boat will run into our fiberglass boat and sink us. And they're like, "We're pretty good at handling our boat. We won't run into you. Drop your fenders, because the custom is you share the locks to reduce the workload and the water flow."
Yeah, of course.
And
time.
Yeah, good God, yes. But people are people. They do what they do, and you remember what they call the onlookers?
No.
They have a phrase for them. They call them gongoozlers.
Gongoozlers.
Yes, there's lots of gongoozlers at the Chester locks.
Well, there will be. There's 900 of them. You can't get through. Oh, it's funny. It's great. I'll tell you what did my head in as well. You putting along there. Everything's nice and sunny. You're heading for the pub. It's great. And somebody will be coming the other way, and they go like that. They go.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, and then you realise this is the code. And every time somebody goes past, you've got to wave, and because aren't we special? Because we've got a boat on the water.
Yes. In the South, everybody waves at everybody. I learned don't do that shit around the world. Like when I was stationed in San Diego, you wave at somebody and you don't know them, they'll go, "What? What do you want?" Easy, killer. I'm saying hi. But I did ask them, and because this is a true story, in England, you drive on the left in a car, but you motor on the right in the canals, like we drive here. I'm like, why is that? And I've never gotten an answer.
I don't know.
I think it had something to do with the fact that the barges were once towed by horses, and that was the side the path was on, or whatever.
Could be. Don't know.
Let's see. Those kind but stiff hand waves. Yes. I used to try to high five people as I walked past. Oh, you're a nut. It's a wonder you've made it to adulthood. And we used to remember in the 80s, we used to go, "Sup, sup." That was just how you greeted it. "Sup, man, sup."
I tell you, my travels through the southern United States. One thing I really like is the ladies when you go in the shop and they'll say, "Hi, darling. How are
Yeah.
you today? And you're looking around, you're thinking a boyfriend's coming or a husband's coming, you know. And they all talk real nice like that. You know, how are you? How's your day, honey?
Hey,
And
sugar.
yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Like Mandy. Have you heard Mandy talk?
No.
Mandy Summers, she's Comic Skate. She's like, "Hey, love bug, how are you?"
Oh, yeah, she's on Facebook, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard her. Yeah.
She lives 30 minutes north of me.
Right.
Nobody around here talks like that, so she's got to be a transplant from somewhere else because nobody's that southern.
I'll tell you what I did. I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was doing the Greyhound bus thing across the states when I was younger, and I was in Nashville, and I had a couple of hours to kill before I would carry it on. So I thought, well, you know, I like to. I don't think that if when you go somewhere, you've got to try and experience it. And
Yes.
I mean the real stuff. I don't mean get shot or anything, but the real stuff. So in other words, when you stay in a hotel, you never go out of the hotel. You could be on Mars, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I had 2 hours to kill before my next bus. So okay, put the bag in the locker thing, and I walk out into Nashville, and I'm walking around, and I'm walking around 20 minutes, just walking the streets. And I noticed that everybody was looking at me.
Uh-oh.
And I thought, no, I'm just paranoid. But people were turning. They were turning to, and I thought, I must look pretty good today, right? So I'm walking about, and then I realized I was the only white person.
Gotcha.
And I thought, fuck. And it was like, and luckily, I was nearly back at the station because it was nearly time for me to go. But I thought, shit, I'd been walking around for an hour and a half and I didn't see one other white person, which over here wouldn't bother me.
Right,
but
right.
In Nashville, Tennessee, wherever that is, I don't know where I am. Do you understand what I mean? But some of these people were not happy at all.
Yeah, I remember once upon a time, like in the 80s, nobody gave a shit what color you were. And we've had this horrible divide, particularly in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I only caught trouble one time. Let me tell you, this is an absolutely true story. And here is a survival technique for all of you folks listening. I was walking through kind of a rough neighborhood, and this young black guy comes up and he starts going, "Sup, man, sup." And that, you know, that's, you're about to get into some shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of look over my shoulder and his buddy's following us.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is about to go bad. Now, I am 6'2", 250 pounds. And this was back when I was prime enough to hurt somebody. So I wasn't really afraid of one guy, but there was two of them. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be. So he's sup. So I looked at him dead in the eye and I made up a gibberish language. And I said, you know, my gibberish Russian, Estafetapakoya, Kotaladriga Esrova. And he went, and I just kept walking. He didn't follow because I fucked him up. Oh, well, my goodness. Texas, I've never been in that part of the American South, just the white tourist areas. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. It's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, there's good and there's bad.
You know, speaking about not bothering what color people are, I can't understand in America why. I don't know whether this has just happened suddenly. I suspect it hasn't, but everybody is suddenly African American, Italian. Why don't you just be American?
And that's what those of us on the conservative right say every single day. It's like, I am not a European American. I'm just American. I was born here.
Yeah.
Carol likes Hotlanta. Yeah, but nobody from Atlanta says Hotlanta. So, yeah. And by the way, I stay out of Atlanta at all costs, even though it's only a 30-minute drive that way. I don't go. But I don't know where that came from, Glenn. And I think it's stupid. I think we have our own culture. Assimilate to that culture.
Yeah.
Take the, you know, America takes the good from every culture and incorporates it. If it's bad, whoosh, ditch it. Hey, Sketchbook, what's up, buddy? Oh, if I had a pack of gangster one, yeah, it was scary, you know. And all I wanted, by the way, this is what addiction will do to you. My cigarette addiction had me walking through this neighborhood because I had gone to a business meeting at, we were looking at buying recovery houses for a residential treatment program. And so, of course, you're going to go where the cheap real estate is, which was this bad neighborhood. So we had met over there, but I knew there was a store up the road and I desperately needed a pack of cigarettes. But my car was blocked in. So, and so I have to walk through this neighborhood. Now, when I did my fake Russian shit and got out of that, I remember thinking at the store, I've got to walk back through there to get back. But they didn't fuck with me. They didn't come back out that time. So I was like,
I went to into a club one time, or a club. Yeah, I went to a club, and I'm not a fighter. I'll run. You know, first thing I'll do is run. Well, the first thing I'll do is avoid it. I won't go anywhere near it if I can help it. So I go into this club, and I'd be about 23, you know, and I just walked in, and it wasn't a club, it was the pub. It was Friday night. It was absolutely packed, right? You couldn't get to the bar. It took you half an hour to get to the bar. And I walked in, and I just happened to sort of face these 4 or 5 lads, same age as me, 23, 24. And they were just standing there with the beer. And this guy turned round and he said to me, "Do you want to fight?"
God dang.
Right? And there's 5 of them. So I put my face in his and I just went, "Yeah." Right in his face, "Yeah." And he went, "Ooh." Oh. And they all went away. And I thought, Bruce Lee, you know, I'm Bruce Lee.
Totally dodged a bullet.
And then, I tell you what I did though. I didn't stop. I walked through because there was another door, and I left. I thought, what did I just do?
Right.
You know, what did I just do?
I would rather avoid a fight at all costs.
But what would have happened if I'd have said no?
Oh, yeah. Or if you said yeah and he just swung, you know.
Yeah. So I thought I've got it. So I never went back to that pub again.
Well, good bluff. Yeah, I had a confrontation with a guy. I'm in line at a gas station, a petrol station, and he was drunk and he would not quit running his jaw at the cashier. She was kind of cute, so he's just, "Hey, baby," and he's just being this obnoxious asshole. So I said, "Dude, man, there's a line behind you," and obviously the girl was trying to get him to move on, and he turned around and he said, "Man, fuck you. I'll shoot you right." And that's all he got out of his mouth. I popped him right in the nose and it sat him down on his ass, you know. And then my alarm went off after the fact. Ooh, there's cameras in here. There's cops around. I need to not be here. I threw my money under the counter with just my Dr. Pepper and I hauled ass. Well, I got back to work and I thought, I am going to jail. I am going to jail for assault. 2 cops walk in.
Oh.
And I told my secretary, I said, I'm going to jail right now because I told her what happened. I said, I'm about to go to jail. And she intercepted them. She's like, "Hi, can I help you, gentlemen?" "Yeah, we need to make an appointment for my wife." And it's like, oh, thank you, God.
And you were going to walk to them like this, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it.
There was a, you know, we have football, soccer. There was a really, really big game between Liverpool and Manchester United, which is a really big rival game, you know, and the fans don't like each other and all this kind of thing. And on this particular day, I wasn't going to the football, but I was in a bar in Manchester in the city centre, and this game was going on in about an hour from when we were there. So all the fans, all these Manchester United fans were in this bar, and they're all a bit drunk, and they're all having a great time, no problem. And there was this guy, and he came in, and he was absolutely pissed out of his head, drunk out of his head, falling over, you know, really, 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 really gone.
Yeah.
And he's talking like that, fucking hell, you know. He's a Scouser, right? He's come to watch the Liverpool game. He's come to watch the game, and he fell on the floor. He was that drunk. He was paralytic. He was that drunk. He fell on the floor. So this guy just helps him up and says, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Fuck off." And he just nutted this guy in the face and smashed his face, this Scouser, right?
Wow.
And so the guy ran. Then he suddenly found his legs. He ran off, and about 15 of these Manchester United lads ran out. And when they came back, they were all like straight faced, and some had blood on the shirt. And apparently, what they'd done, they'd smashed him to pieces. And he probably deserved it because this guy had a broken nose, and all he did was help him up.
Right, right.
They'd smashed him to pieces, and then they were all hiding in the corner, these lads with his blood. It must have been his blood. And these police came, and everybody was sort of turning away, like turning the shit. And two coppers came in, and everybody went quiet. And this copper said, "Right, did anybody see anything that happened outside 5 minutes ago?" And everybody went, "No." "Right, okay." And he just went. He knew, but he wasn't going to get anybody for it,
Right, right.
So people are just,
Yep.
you've just got to be careful.
It's a strange world outside your door.
It is.
Just know that. And obviously, when I started out, I wasn't in psychology. I was in medicine. I worked trauma medicine. And you'll see the very worst of humanity on a weekend if you're in the emergency room.
Yeah.
You're trying to save somebody's life and they try to cut you. I've been shot at. I've been stabbed 3 times on the job. People fighting, biting, and after a while you go, why am I trying to help you right now when all you want to do is kill me?
Yeah.
I had a dude draw back with his cane, drunk off out of his mind. And he was going to hit me in the head, but he was so drunk he lost his balance and went over backwards. I just walked around him and kept going. I'm like, fuck you, man, lay on the floor.
Fractured skull, yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to go.
Same, guys. I'm going to wrap this one. I haven't had breakfast. Been up since 4. It's time to eat.
What time is it there now?
Almost 8. 7:53.
Right.
So, guys, chat. Thank you as always for hanging out. I enjoyed your company. Glenn, always a pleasure, John, with you, buddy.
Thanks
you
for
guys,
letting me in.
Yeah. And you guys have a great day.
We'll see you soon.